All right, let's get right into this. What if one of the most powerful, let's call it a spiritual technology, for literally creating our reality was written down almost 2,000 years ago, then it was deliberately hidden and only found again by pure accident in the last century? That's what we're looking at today, an ancient text that claims to do exactly that.
Now, I know this is a huge question, but it's the mystery at the heart of this manuscript. Some people believe it contains the raw, unfiltered instructions for using the power of our own consciousness, instructions that were literally edited out of the books we know today.
And look, this isn't just some theory. It all starts with a real-life discovery. Picture this, 1945, near a place called Nag Hammadi in Egypt, a sealed jar is pulled out of the earth. Inside, ancient texts, untouched for centuries. And one of them was a gospel said to be written by Thomas, and it was unlike anything anyone had ever seen before.
So to really get what the Gospel of Thomas is saying, you have to understand where it comes from, a philosophy called Gnosticism. Now, the Gnostics, they believed salvation wasn't about just having faith. It was about gnosis, a direct, personal, intuitive knowledge. They saw Jesus not just as someone to be worshipped, but as a guide who came to share that knowledge and set people free.
And right from the very first line, the text makes this huge, bold claim about itself. It's not just a bunch of nice sayings, these are secret sayings. And the key isn't just reading the words, it's about finding their interpretation. The text basically promises that if you can figure this out, it holds the key to some kind of profound power.
Which, of course, leads to the big question. If this text is so powerful, why was it lost? Why isn't this in the Bible that you can go pick up today? Well, the story suggests it wasn't lost by accident at all. It was hidden on purpose. Just look at this timeline. You can see this incredible gap in the historical record. The teachings were there, but then, in 325 AD, this massive effort began to standardize the Christian Bible. Some researchers call it the Great Edit, and it's believed that dozens of texts, maybe even as many as 45, were either changed or just removed completely. For over 1,600 years, this entire way of thinking was basically lost to the Western world.
So, what exactly got the axe? Well, according to the people who study these rediscovered texts, the ideas that were lost were absolutely revolutionary. Things like the idea that everything is connected by a field of energy, that there's a specific language you can use to talk to that field, and, this was the big one, that divine power isn't some force out there to be afraid of, but an inner power that we all have.
And this brings us right to the core philosophy of the Gospel of Thomas. It's a teaching that completely shifts the source of power from way up in the heavens to right inside of us.
Verse 3 really gets to the heart of it. The text quotes Jesus saying, "The kingdom isn't just out there somewhere. It is both inside of you and outside of you." And then it makes this crucial connection. Knowing yourself is the key. And if you don't know yourself, you dwell in poverty. The way this is interpreted is just so profound. It's suggesting that your inner world, your thoughts, your feelings, it literally creates your outer world. And that poverty it talks about, it's not about money. It's the poverty you live in when you believe that power and control and your salvation are all outside of you. It's what keeps you feeling like a victim of your circumstances.
Okay, so if this power is inside us, how in the world do we actually use it? Well, believe it or not, the text gives us a surprisingly practical instruction on how to create.
This is from verse 106, and it's basically a formula. It says that when you can unify the two, you get the power to command reality itself, to move mountains. So, what exactly are the two? While scholars who study these texts believe the two are our thoughts and our emotions. And you know how it is, we often have thoughts about what we want, but our emotions are somewhere else entirely. We're feeling doubt or fear or worry. This teaching says the secret is to marry the thought in your mind with the feeling in your heart, creating one single powerful force.
And this is where it gets absolutely amazing. We've all heard the phrase, "Ask and ye shall receive." But just look at what the direct translation from the original Aramaic language shows us. Two critical sentences were taken out, the sentences that tell us how to ask. Ask without hidden motive and be surrounded by your answer. Be enveloped by what you desire. See, this isn't about speaking words. It's about generating a feeling.
This lost piece of the puzzle completely redefines prayer. It's not about asking an outside God for something. It's a nonverbal communication. It's a feeling that you send out into the very fabric of the universe.
So this gives us a clear three-step process. First, ask without hidden motive. That means letting go of your ego, of judgments, the labels of good and bad, right and wrong. Then second and third, to be surrounded and enveloped means you have to generate the feeling in your body as if your prayer is already answered. You don't ask for something. You feel from the place of already having it.
So why would this work? The teaching suggests there's a field of energy that connects everything, what some today might call a divine matrix. And what's wild is, this isn't that far off from modern physics, which theorizes that a quantum field is the basis of all reality. This field doesn't understand our words. It understands the basic language of energy. And our heart, through powerful emotions, generates real electrical and magnetic waves. That feeling, that is the language that talks directly to the field.
And you know, this isn't just some forgotten ancient idea. It has survived and popped up again and again through the centuries. Just look at this quote from the 20th century philosopher Neville Goddard. It's the exact same principle, just said in a modern way. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The instruction has never changed. Make a future dream a present fact by feeling the emotion of it right now.
Here's a great way to think about it. A martial artist breaking a stack of bricks doesn't focus on the moment their hand hits the brick. That would just cause hesitation and probably a lot of pain. Instead, they focus their mind and their feeling on a point beyond the bricks, as if their hand has already passed right through. They are feeling from the result. The text is suggesting this is how we're supposed to pray.
You know, the rediscovery of this lost Gospel of Thomas suggests that maybe we've been missing the user's manual for our own creative power this whole time. It's proposing that we're not here to beg for miracles, but to learn the language that actually creates them. So really, the only question left is, now that you know the language, what will you ask for?